started off working in Philips, so he was employed. But subsequently, he left Philips and he started his own company, and since then it has grown. And it has also merged with different companies. So I'll leave him to share his story rather than tell you, what he's doing, right? And thank you very much, and welcome. Welcome.
Share with you is some of the journey I go through in my working life, where I started as a young engineer working for a multinational. It's Philips Electronics in Toa Payoh, when they were expanding the whole system from a few hundred men to about 6,000 to 7,000 people. And I was recruited basically to expand, to also help expand Philips Singapore. As a young engineer, I just graduated, so as usual, you just learn a lot of things along the way. So, to share with you, then after that, I left the company to start my own company. And I did it for many years. And some of the things where just now Mr. Lee mentioned to you, I actually personally experienced it myself. And we share very similar, what he says, because he has seen many companies, whereas for me, I've seen what I did with it. I couldn't see what others have done. But what he said, I think, reinforces my belief is what he says is correct. Okay, now I'd like to start the presentation. Okay. One of the things I do give talk to encourage engineers, because being engineering trained, I tend to be very engineer focused, and I always encourage engineers in their working life, please take a look how to start a company. Why should you want to work for people? Okay. That also includes my own staff who are engineers. Okay. So I'd like to share with you the journey I go through, and then the challenges I face, and highlight some of the skills, competencies, and values individuals must acquire. Okay. There are certain minimum requirements you need to consider. If you want an easy path, please work with somebody. Okay. Minimum requirement, 12 hours a day and almost 7 days a week. This you must expect. If you think that you're going to cut down your time, I don't think you should even bother starting a company. And you must have full drive, commitment, and ambition. Just like just now Mr. Lee says, you must have a passion for it. And you must have communication skill, people skill, political skill, social skill. There are many skills you need to have. And then you have to set example, 120% work standard. That means that the standard must be high. If you expect your man to be 100%, you must be 120%. If you are 100%, your man is only 80%. But the problem is that your man multiply, you are 10 men is 80% of 10 men. So inevitably you have to set example. And this is the part I believe in, partly because of the engineering business I started. You start below 20, must be less than 35. Too young is not useful, because in engineering, when you go and see a client, they see you as a person without experience, they don't trust you. But it depends on the business. If you do a business where you are starting a cake shop, I don't think it's necessary. But I'm talking as an engineering type of business. And you have to believe in yourself. Just now Mr. Lee also said the same thing. You must trust yourself, believe in what you want to do. And you must go against the norm. If you do what average guy don't do, you do what average guy don't do, that means that don't follow people. If you follow people, they already done it. That means that if you do a business, you follow what is already done. It's already done. So you are behind following them. It's the same as the bubble tea effect, the fish, Lohan fish. It's the same problem. So that means that what you see people have done and you want to start, I'm telling you, it's too late. So you always must start in a business where It hasn't occurred yet. But that's always the risky part. What hasn't occurred, you cannot know. And there's no norms to follow. And you must always do is challenge yourself to be better than yesterday. That means that you must always be very critical of yourself. What can I learn? What can I improve? Important is also your own characteristics. You must be able to transform habits. That means that certain things you have been doing, and then people tell you, hey, this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Then you have to ask yourself, can you change? But habits are more difficult to change. And you need high self-discipline. So these are the minimum requirements. I'm just telling you that if you want to start a business, from an engineering type of business, just have learned from this. Okay. Do what you commit even when others excuses. Just like Mr. Lee just now mentioned, when people say, you don't give a cue, just do it. And you always have unique continuous knowledge and acquisition for new experiences to learn. And also, inquisitiveness must be there. Always ask 3 times, why is it like that? Then after that, if somebody gives you an answer, why is the answer like that? And then why again? That means that try to ask yourself, why is it like that? Why is it like that? Don't be satisfied the first time somebody tells you an answer, and then you are satisfied. You go 3 levels down, and you find that you learn a lot. This is a picture from the SMU when you're recruiting. Are you going to be an irrelevant person in future? Okay, just I share with you, these are the past experience I go through, because engineering, it determines my future. The past controls a lot of my future. So in the sense, your past also controls your future. You cannot change it overnight. Okay, I born in 1953, so you know how old am I. Okay, I'm an electronics hobbyist from young, from 15 years old. And I was educated OA level in Malaysia before going to university in 73. And what was very interesting, this second statement was very, very important, because I didn't realize it until many, many years down the road. In my second year in my electronics course, there were electrical electronics. One is electronics, one is electrical. In their common subject was in first year. But in second year, we also do the same. But in third year, we do finalize final course you want to go for electrical. But I chose electrical. The reason behind is that I chose electrical. Then I take the form, you tick all the courses electrical. My head of department in my course called me up. He says, can you read English or not? Why you choose your electronics was my best subject, electrical my not so good subject. So my head of department called me. He says, why you choose? People choose always the best, the better grades, and then study electronics. So what I told him is that I'm a student. I'm here to learn. So I should learn what I don't know. What's the point? I learn something I really know. So in that sense, he says, okay, you're a strange guy. Okay, go ahead. So, but after when I finished my degree, I decided, no, I'm going to do electronics again. So I went to apply for a scholarship for electronics. But they said, sorry, you have a degree in electronics, we can't give, electrical, we can't give you electronics. Then I asked him, so what do I do? He said, you can do a PhD in electrical. I said, oh, like that. Okay, then I do. So I took studies without even considering what I want to study. I just treat it as a challenge in life. So I took the path of being when I was a student, is that if I'm not successful, I cannot make it. It makes me even drive me harder just to drive it. So in a sense, I look at my character after going through that, because I started even much younger when I was in university. The word my colleagues when I was in Philips, they told me, he said, you need mountains to climb. So after you climb one already, he said, okay, what's the next one? So in a sense, it's built into your character. So for those guys who are restless, and you, let's say, got problem in your school, don't worry, you just need aggression. Okay, this is a company which sponsored my PhD. No bond, nothing. Not like in Singapore, they tie you. In there, they just ask you, say, hey, I give you a scholarship. It was sponsored by a British company to design a generator from 55 watts to 250 watts. So I did everything, I got to them, but no commission from them. Just get a fish and then go off. Okay, that was me, just like some of you. 23 years old. That was me at 23 years old. In my PhD, just to share with you, you work 3 years, 6 days a week, no holidays on. You want to do a PhD, you go against this or not. I was doing computer modeling, I built my own electronics, I was doing a lot of laboratory work, but I enjoy the work. So in a sense, if in certain entrepreneurship, if you want to start, the first thing you say, must be hardworking, must have a bit obsession in you. You need a bit of obsession. If you don't have it, you cannot drive through the difficult times. So in university, what I learned is that the university education trains you to acquire knowledge and apply what you train. And that's a normal path. So that means that if you look at knowledge in this world, 10 to the power 3 and go on. And what you can read, I don't believe is that high. And after you read, can you really understand? Then after you understand, what are you going to do with it? What do you apply? So what I did was that I realized that because I worked on the PhD scholarship gave me, it's a very practical scholarship because I have to work with industrial companies. I learned that actually what you need in the real world is actually very, very small compared to what is available. So what I did was that I decided that after I graduate, I go and do an application to get a job. But then to find knowledge, I reversed. I go and look for clever people here. It's easier. Most of the people, they study here, they want to go this way. I think it's less. I prefer to see what is the problem and then say how to solve it. That's where the business is. Okay, this is to give you the path I went through when I was in Philips. I came to Singapore 1980 and I left Philips 1993. One and last job, but many function. And I started as a development engineer, just like any of you who come out. Then after that, you promote, then the boss. Then after a certain point, I talked to my boss. He said, boss, I had enough design. He said, if you're going to give me design, I'm going to go. So he said, okay, I give you another job. You start to manage people. He said, okay, how many people? He said, I give you 3. He said, you can manage 3, I give you more. Okay, then after that, this was the biggest shock in my life. After 6 already, then he says, how to keep him busy, Always he come back every year and irritate me. So he gave him a difficult job. So he gave me a very difficult job, 60 people at the age of 31, I was handling that. Then after that, I improved the quality for him. Then I said, hey boss, enough. He said, I need to do something different. He said, what do you want to do? I said, okay, to do production, engineering. So I said, go back and do. I said, yes sir, let's go ahead. Then after that, when I did that, I helped my boss to be successful. I got rid of him, he got promoted, so I took over his post. So, in working life, I always joke with my staff when I was in Philips. I came from another department, so I took over the department. Some of the managers who was eyeing the post was very frustrated because they are from inside, and this guy came in from outside. So I had a meeting with my managers. So the first meeting I said, you heard me, I'm a slave driver, I'm this, I'm that. All the negative thing is true. So I said, there are 2 ways of getting rid of me. You either get me kicked out, or you promote me. You help me get promoted. So when I told them like that, then I said, second one is easier for you. Getting rid of it is a bit more difficult. So in a sense, I was very political, in that sense. Then, that was the biggest job I had was when the quality of the factory was coming down. So I was taking over the quality when this was completely coming down. Then my job at that time, my boss gave me to take over the department to bring it up. So at that time when it was coming down, that was the challenge I want. They got expatriate, they got how many engineers, how many years, how many years, all having problems, all bringing down. So my boss, I asked my boss to say, hey, this is a difficult job. He said, I want to take this. Then he gave me. Then people ask me, why you want to take a difficult job? Very simple. If I succeed, I win. If I cannot, I'm same as them. Yeah. So I got nothing to lose. If I can't bring it up, I said, I'm just like you, no difference. No. But if I bring it up, I have an edge over you already. But because of that, it gives me a lot of personal recognition that I do when it's coming down, if you have the skill to bring it up, that is the most difficult to do. When it's going up, you make it go up faster, it's the easiest. So, as a person, basically, you must always look at one thing to test yourself to always do difficult jobs. Because if you always want to do easy job, don't do business. Because business will have so many unknowns, so many surprises that it will cause you to fail and you give up. So, to test yourself, even you work today in a company, ask yourself, difficult job, nobody wants to do, volunteer to do it. If you can do it, you learn something. If you get the same, then say, okay, I'm the same as the rest. That's all. So after that, when I got, it was about 96, I took over the job. My boss, I told him, I said, look, when I reached 99, I need a new job already. So when I reached 99.2, I knocked at the job and said, I need a new job. I was going crazy. But the interesting part is that when I have to do a job for the company to drive the quality up, I use that to push everything. So everything, whoever stands in my way, I just plow it through. That automatically builds up my political power in a big organization. Because we can achieve results. This is what I did. After that, my boss asked me, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to automate the factory for you. So I came from, after I took the department quality, I took over this group. That was my boss. Then, after that, I transformed from this to this. Some of these probably are your mom's. Okay. Then the next one, after that, as I said, I made my boss successful. He got promoted up, so I took over his department. Then, what we did was that, this was just in time, was transforming this factory to an automation line. That was the fun part. I did enjoy my work there, or else I wouldn't have stayed that long. So, what sort of skills I acquired? One in a multinational. I learned how a multinational thinks, how they look at perceptive things. Not from my point of view, but from the multinational. I also learned how R&D technologies are deployed in the whole business chain. Not technology chain, the whole business chain. And how they take huge, risky investment strategies. And MNC challenges in also how to move from production centers from Europe to Singapore, and Singapore to the rest of the country. So I was involved in getting the products to Singapore and moving the products out the lower end. So I was doing the production transfer. So a lot of international politics, because you have to work with the Western countries, because you know that when you move the factory, they're going to close. Not now, but 3-4 years down the road, you know it's going to happen. But of course, we still have a job to do, they have a job to do, they will. And a typical example, when we move production lines from Germany, we ask them, can you give us some information? They give you everything. One big stack, all in German. How are you going to translate? So they purposely play a game of war, of what do you call that, guerrilla war with us. So then I said, okay, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do it another way. So I take this as a challenge that you're going to hinder me, I'm going to overcome you. So every time when I face this problem, I would treat it as a challenge, and then I said, can I overcome the circumstances which was imposed to me? So as an entrepreneur, you must learn how not to see a problem as a problem, but treat it as a challenge to learn your skill. Because that skill you learn, you carry for the rest of your life. You can't buy experience. You can't buy a book and read experience. You must have to experience it. Then we also look at how to do local outsourcing, and then we manage a large pool of engineers to make the whole production keep running. Today, that factory is going to China, much bigger. In Philips, today they have scaled down much more already. But that was history. Okay. This is the part, very interesting. Today, if any of the cards people carry, this I encourage a lot of the senior people in multinationals to look at entrepreneurs. When you want to come out, is it mid-career crisis, you've done everything, are you bored? I was holding a senior manager position in Philips. Then, the interesting part, I said, if I remove this card out, actually, who are you? That means that whenever you carry a business card, the company actually gives you your authority, your rank, everything. This is because the company put you, but actually, you are nobody. You are there because the company employed you to hold that function, but the company can sack you tomorrow. So in reality, how you differentiate between your capability and the company empower you. And if you are not careful, a lot of people grow up in big companies thinking that they are big bosses, vice president of this. In reality, a new boss comes in, he brings his new gang, you're out straight. Out on the road, and you start looking for a job. So I always tell people, when you are successful in multinational, it's because the multinational put you there. The minute the multinationals put in a new boss team, he will change the whole team. He brings his own gang. Who are actually you? Then you're out of the job, you apply for a job. So that means that you must understand your personal value versus the value in the company. Always be very conscious about that. And actually, in reality, you have to ask yourself, can I stand my own feet and make my own living without the logo of Philips behind me? So that was the part it imposed on me. So I said, yeah, Philips make me, I got secretary, make coffee, espresso coffee, everybody, everything done for me. So I asked myself, this is too comfortable. You know, it's everything you get and you take it for granted. I said, can I make my own living on my own as a person? So that was the challenging part. But I always tell people, don't be afraid. Because before we get our first job, we were actually all of a sudden unemployed. So what's the difference? Okay. As we grow up accustomed to trappings of a multinational, we take it for granted. In reality, we're actually nobody without the logo. As an individual, a multinational, you're 1 in 1,000 staff. You can easily be replaced because you're only one. Even if you sack the guy, it's only 0.1%. So that means that actually, multinational has a system, has an organization. That's why they're strong. It's because of that. With globalization, this is the interesting part. You might be the best in your class, but you're now calibrated globally. Who are you? That means that you want to fight to compete in the global world for business, you're actually competing with global competition. Local competition is not so special, honestly. Because you haven't seen, some of you haven't seen global competition before, where even in business, they can do things very different from us. But because we have been brought up in a certain culture in Singapore, what will happen is that we tend to think countries outside Singapore behave like us. Unfortunately, you're wrong. They don't work like that. They're much more creative than you. Okay, you either embrace it or you fear it. So instead of fearing it, you treat it as a challenge, fight, compete. Okay, in MNC, if you work in MNC, very few people will do. They will climb up a corporate ladder. A lot of their time invested. It's like when you go out to start a company, it's just like throwing away. And then you leave your family behind and say, okay, let's have a new family in a new country. It's exactly like that. The feeling is the same. So it's just like when you're MNC, you want to start, a lot of things comes into play. You ask, fear factor, loss of base because you can't make it, loss of income. There are many, many questions you ask. In fact, this question, when I put this, people who have done business, they also ask, they say it's the same thing. They also ask themselves the same thing. It's just that they don't say it in public. But each of us have a fear. But for those who jump, some will go through, some just stay there. That's all. But that's a fact of life you have to accept. Okay. And if you want to start a company, the actual hindrance for anything is actually you yourself. You yourself is the hindrance, no one else. Because you have grown up in the company to get a job, and then you have to be very aggressive, and then you climb up with ambition. But when you start a company, you have to be very accommodating. Because let's say you are in a multinational, you climb up in a corporate career, you can demand things. Say, as the boss, you do this. But now when you start a business, you go to say, good morning, thank you very much. So your behavior pattern, you have to change. If you like to say, I'm the boss, you're always there, then please stay there. If you want to come out to serve people, to do business, you have to change your mindset. You have to be very humble and cannot be arrogant. So this is why sometimes it's a conflicting requirement. Just imagine you start as a young engineer, you climb up, and you have many group of people under you, and then you are talking business strategy, big group people, and then you can hire, fire people, so you think you're king. Now, if you have that mindset, you come up and start a business, how are you going to do it? Because now you have to serve people, and even some of the customers could be formerly your very junior staff. So in a sense, you have to accept that. Okay. So this is the company I started in '94. Yeah, the logo we have is called System Engineering. If you invert it for those electronics, this is analog, that's the digital. That's how I do my logo. Okay, we started in '94, January. Before I start my company, before I left Philips, I gave my boss 1 year notice, even though it's supposed to be two months notice. I said, boss, I'm going to go already. He didn't believe me. He thought I'm crazy. He thought I'm doing 7 years each or 10 years each, don't know what. So I said, look, I'm going to go. And he told me, why you want to throw your investment, you invest your life after 13 years in multi-climate. And then the next path I have to go to Europe to 3 years to be posted there, to be expatriate. Then after that, they post me to another country. Then I told my boss, I'm not going to do that. He said, if I'm going to do that, I must start my company. So I didn't want to go to Europe and stay there. The other reason is also, once you go inside the system of an expatriate system, you become excluded from business. You are part of the whole chain already. That means that you are those high, what I call, for those who are in multinationals, let me just use a very blunt word, you're eunuch in the multinational. Eunuch. You have to serve the emperor, yes. But because you're highly paid, you have to do that. Of course, you are there to serve the multinational, but I didn't want to do that. So I came out to start this company. Of course, it was difficult. It was never simple. Okay, I built production equipment because that's where I came from. I built production testers for factories. So, but when the factory moves out, I evolved my business. I built motor testers, DC motor. Those are in the peak 94 to about 98. There was a lot of manufacturing in Singapore. So I was serving the whole market there. Because I also knew this business because when I was in multinational, I wanted to outsource. But I couldn't find companies to outsource. So there are only two things. Either there's a big market or there's no market. Because I couldn't find suppliers. I could find suppliers to make those SMT. Contract manufacturers, plenty of them. But to make equipment or test, cannot. So I had two choices really. So if I go and start a company, there must be a market. Or maybe nobody is interested. I got no one. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So it turns out to be correct. There was a market for that. Then we basically move along and we go into remote monitoring. Today, the MRT tunnels I'm doing now, we monitor a lot of MRT tunnels where you are taking the tunnel. We monitor when the tunnel is it moving too much, when the next building is doing excavation. Because once it cracks in the tunnel, you're going to repair. And there's water seepage going in. These are all engine work. We will highlight the Straits Times as a company who do tunnel monitoring. In IDA, this is a website, old website. They feature us as a company who do civil engineering to monitor sensors, GPRS, web services, but that was in 2003 or so. Okay, starting point, you have to move out. You have to understand, you must be different from the rest. Ask yourself, what is unique about you? If you're the same as 10 other guys, then 10 other guys can follow you. You cannot be somebody you are not. It means that you have to know yourself very well. Trust yourself, just not like Mr. Lee, so you have to trust yourself. And you must know your limits at different phase in your life. What sort of connections you have, how much financial power you have, how much connection you have. And you better know your belief system, what you believe in. Just a mission statement. And write down what you're good in and what you're bad in. Bad in, very important. Or what you don't like about yourself. Because what you don't like yourself is what people see in you. Write down what you do naturally. That means that by default, what is your personality? That means that your personality, by default, you do it like that. Then it becomes your strength. You do it very natural. And reflect your own achievement and failure. Read your own testimonials, especially people who criticize you. Because these are very important. You see, if you have surrounded, this is actually like you heard the story, Emperor wear no clothes. The thing is that when you meet people who always agree with you, basically you're blind. People who disagree with you have to think very hard. Because when I disagree with you, say I don't agree with your view. He has everything, but the easiest for him to say I agree with you, right? To disagree with you, and it takes more brain power and skill. But then you have to accept, because the guy, you respect the guy, he must have some brains to disagree with you. Then okay, we discuss. Then you learn. Okay, why I used that word was because I had the same problem when I was in Philips. Because by nature, I'm rebellious. So I disagree with my boss. So it was in a management meeting, about 10 managers, I was one of them. So my boss presented me his plan and all that. They said, can we have, you said, yeah, raise hand, I disagree with my boss. Discuss with him. After that, as usual, he's a Chinaman, Chinese. He called meeting, he said, TGH, why? Blah, 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 scold me, So I sit down, listen. After listening to everything, he said, Mr. Gan, you finished or not? I said, yes. Can I say something? He said, yes. He said, no, yes. So I said, do you know that if I have to agree with you, I don't have to think. I just say, yes, good job, boss. I agree with your plan. If I have to disagree with you, I have to think very hard. Because I look like a fool in front of all my colleagues that I make something very stupid and disagree with you. It costs me more brain power to disagree with you. If I agree with you, I just go and sleep. So, have you ever thought those managers around you, if they agree with you, you ask them, how much will you think? Half a second? I say, if I disagree with you, I have to think harder. So, if you think that I'm there to destroy you, call my secretary next time, sit down, you just write a minute, I'll do everything for you. You don't need me. You're just wasting my time. You just tell me, say, yes, just do this. You say, yes sir, boss, I'll do. I will do that for you, don't worry. But you know the answer. You will say, yeah, but you can deliver a bit better. You say, why can't you talk like me, like this? I say, I can't. I said, why not? Why can't you learn? Like me. I say, I will do it when I reach your age. I said, I'm this age, I'll behave like that. When I reach your age, I'll behave like you. Then, of course, then he get upset again. I said, okay. I'm toned down a bit different, okay? So, you see, even disagreeing with my boss, I do not give in to my boss so easily. I force him to come to my terms also. So, in a way, as a person, you don't accept things just because he said he's my boss, he must order me. Why should I listen to him? Right? So, your personality and your characteristics do play a part in entrepreneurship. You must have a certain drive in you. Because that part, when you go into business, there will be a lot more difficulties than this. This is very simple difficulties. Okay, being employed in a multinational, I had to handle office politics, internship politics, appraisal, retrenchment, sacking, project delay, new boss every 3 years, we get new bosses, key staff president, production, all those things. So you thought, in multinational, I have all this problem I face every day. So starting your own company, you don't have to face this. I'm telling you, you face it, but in different disguise only, that's all. Okay, let's assume in multinational you say, I hate this, I don't want to do this. Now, basically, I always give people in career path, yourself is here, you have your staff, supporters, alliances, enemies, boss. You tend to form your time in here because this gives you short-term gain. The boss, doesn't mean the people who report to you, I think, can be also laterally. Alliances, people who always support you. But you do not look at this. People who actually oppose you. People who cannot climb faster than you will try to hinder you. They don't say it so openly, but they will hinder you. So I'm very aware of such people. So for me, because in a multinational, I basically compete. I'm basically a political animal in a multinational, very political. But I'm not afraid of it. Then I got supporters, I get the support one. People tend to spend less time on here. Not because it's negative People think politics is negative. Actually, it's not. It's just that the way I phrase it is negative. People ask me, some of the crowd, in politics, why you have this problem? If you ever live with your mother and your mother-in-law, you manage the politics between two of them. Correct? Don't tell me there is no politics. Your wife will tell you something, your mother-in-law will tell you something, that's it. Or your mother will tell you something, sorry. Then you say, oh, you're caught in between. You're managing politics between your wife and your mother-in-law. That's politics. Human has politics. Okay. Now, in self-employed, you face all these challenges. Politics of securing orders, price negotiation, you can limit the capital, cash flow, retention and sacking of staff, project delay, long meetings, key resignation, stoppages, same problem. You're multinational or you go in business, it has the same problem. When you're in a client, your boss, the client is your boss. So it's the same four axes. You just have to wonder where is your area you're going, and then you have to spend time also on this, about watching your competitors and also watching this. So you have to be very sensitive to that. Okay. As in a business, because you always face competition, what is more important to you is actually how fast you learn. Even teaching how much things you can do in a short time and multitask. You cannot handle if you're a single task person, you can't do business. Say, I only can do this or this. As running a business, you've got to think of many tasks in your head and juggle many things. Because you've got so many constraints, so many considerations, so many clients call you, so how you handle that. And not every client are good clients to have. Some clients are not useful to have. Okay. The other part is that when you are going through starting a company, you must have your past experience, asking yourself, you actually learn from making mistakes and improve so that you don't repeat that. I think you heard that from your teachers always tell you. But this is the part very interesting. When the person tells you, I got 10 years experience, he can interpret this way, he got 1 year of experience, but he repeat it 10 times. That's 10 years. So if you have another guy, every year he do different things, it's also 10 years, correct? Say, I got 10 years experience. But in my mind, I'll say 10 years doing the same thing or 10 years doing different things. The value of the person 10 years doing different things is higher value than the same person doing every year the same thing. So you never learn. So that's why I encourage you all, even if you, in your job, you're working for a boss, try to improve for the company. When you improve for the company, you actually learn something. And that's something, the skill you take for the rest of your life. So most engineers are employed by businessmen to make money. I always challenge the engineers, why can't engineers run engine companies? And why engineers usually make poor businessmen? Now I'll show you that. Okay, engineers tend to think market needs our skill and technology without spending effort in actually what the market wants. That means that engineers, we all think we are very smart. Actually, it's not true. Because being an engineer, I can be very critical to engineers. So that's my privilege. And in the case of technology chasing after market, and as engineers who are very proficient, they tend to look at the world revolves around them. And unfortunately for engineers, this is the key part. You find a lot of engineers cannot find girlfriends. So if for girls who want engineers, you know that they are quite desperate.
Oh no.
Or I encourage engineers to come here. Okay. Engineers by nature, they are nerds actually. High percentage of nerds. They like to think they're honest, they don't lie, and in-depth thinking. They only say what comes to the mind. They basically lack delivery skill. They cannot deliver. They just bluntly tell you like that. And they only certain to say, okay, maybe they use a maybe, perhaps. They don't commit one. Because they are trained like that, so they become very kiasu. They are very risk averse. And he thinks that he knows how to handle his work professionally, and he doesn't delegate so well, because he don't trust people so easily. And he can, most of the time, a lot of engineers cannot think out of the box. And they look at sales guys like crooks, you know. No, if you do sales, you go and talk to engineers, they don't like that. They are like that. But if you are a young pretty girl, go and sell engineers, don't talk to them, you just smile nicely and very polite. Those engineers will look at you more than the product. So then I tell engineers, you know, this is TV media. Because this is more critical to engineers, not to guys that are in business. You know, when you see all this machine, all that, and you see those girls, guys wearing this, you think those machines, after buying, they look like that. I think these girls look like that before they bought the machine. So I tell them, look, this is marketing, except marketing is like that. Don't go and say that you buy this, you become like that. No, it's like that. These girls are like that before they use the machine. So this is the part, very interesting. Engineers will never think like that. This I learned from one of the books. The person who starts the cosmetics Revlon, I think some of the ladies here knows. The founder said, in a factory, Revlon manufactured cosmetics. In the shop, your retail shop, they sell hope. You hope that when you buy a cosmetic, you look like that. That's all. They sell you hope. That's why you see in the marketing part, in cosmetics, they always put beautiful girls, and then they put all this, they transform with your eyelash, with a mascara, all that. They say, oh, you look like that, that's very good. So you buy cosmetic, the idea is to sell more cosmetic, that's all. But they do it very subtle. Whereas for an engineer, the engineer will not do like that. He will just say, take it or leave it. Okay, this is called marketing and branding. And image creation and branding. This is how TV media use their bodybuilding equipment. That's how they sell it. Okay, how you start a company? First, get family support. Okay, you've got a sustaining cash flow. Getting your first customer is the most difficult. Technical skills are not enough. And if you are successful in a multinational, it doesn't ensure you can get clients in SME. Then now, if you are MNC, you move out, some of your suppliers now view you as a threat because now you're going out in business to compete with them. So you have to also watch. And you got no track record. The first contract is the most challenging. Why should any client want to even give you the first contract? That is actually the most difficult. Some clients in multinational are not suitable as client of your startup. The reason behind is that you're too small. They are already gone too big. So you cannot go in just like that. You must climb. At a certain stage, you can't do the business. When you reach that, then you can take the business. So it's not that every business is suitable. You're going to spend more effort to get the same contract. You're just wasting your bullets. And people ask me how I do it. I say very simple. You want to look for clients, look at newspaper in Saturday, which are the companies recruiting what sort of people. That means that this company has two problems. Either they're expanding, cannot get people, they recruit, or they're losing people, so there's opportunity. That means that when it's stable, you got no business. When it's increasing, opportunity. When it's decreasing, also opportunity. Because they cannot get people. So either way, when there's a change, there's always an opportunity. Okay, you need to have financial sustainability for 12 months. Make sure that you got enough reserve, or you spend less money, stretch your money. Minimum 12 months before you get an order. Means you can survive with instant noodles. Okay. And taking the first order is very important. Forget about profit from the first order. Because it gives you very motivation and excitement when you get a first PO, that you have achieved it. You need that, but profit in the beginning, don't even discuss. Just get the job done. And you must also do is lower your fixed costs, and you must train your staff. When you have staff, you cannot afford to cut expenses because their livelihood is at stake. Sometimes you have to get rid of staff who cannot contribute, and you have to be aware. You need to be very hardworking, okay? And 6 months. Okay. Important. Tough clients are very good to have because tough clients are also tough on your competitor. So when tough clients also don't have so many suppliers because they're tough to everybody. So if you are tough there, you get a chance of getting a PO. And tough clients are usually unreasonable ones. The advantage you have is that once it's tough, you chase everybody away, and you're still the only one standing there, you charge him more money. Because you got no other choice except you. Because in the beginning, when it's not tough, everybody wants to offer him, you got 10 suppliers, correct? They say, if you don't want, I will give him. They'll let him go and give. So everybody away, you're still standing there and say, sorry, that's my price. Moral story, start with difficult business and small. Then you learn, then you grow. Don't think going big business, it doesn't work like that. And everybody want to do easy and big market, just like bubble tea, one fish, everybody do that. So if you want to be like that, then you know your competition will be like that. And once you start, everybody watching you. You're successful, you copy. You're successful, you copy. Then how are you going to do? Then for myself, the next stage is basically how to grow the company, because I started the company, then in 2003, I merged it, I sold it off to a listed company because they were my client. So at that time, I also had to decide. I knew my limits, and in terms of financial capacity to go overseas, it's impossible. So I decided that instead of just keep die also do, I said no, then I use a different route. I changed strategy already. Then I merged with a listed company, then we go overseas with the listed company, because the financial power is tremendous when you go overseas. And how to transform my team to the next organization, that means that the people you have in a small company, once you grow very bigger, some of the people are not suitable. They are suitable for this size. They are not suitable for this size. That means that some of the managers are good for this, but they are not suitable to manage bigger companies. So they have to stay there. So I have to also even tell them, look, water will find its own level. If you have the capacity, you reach here. If you want to do this, I can show you, but you must work through the path. Because now the future depends on yourself and your capability to reach the next level. So in that sense, I was teaching my staff to have realistic expectations about themselves. Mistakes which I made when I started my own company. I started with a 3-man operation. I basically lost a lot of experience in terms of running a 100-man operation. So that was a mistake I made, because I came from Philips with 100 over people. I knew how to handle a big company. And I started with 3 men. I should have started with 30 men. Because then I can capitalize. But then to have 30 men, I need to bring investors in. Then you bring investors in, you're going to manage a different set of problems. Like just now, Mr. Lee said, you must write what MOU, understanding, mission statement. I said, I'm not interested in that. But hindsight, I have hindsight, not foresight. Okay? So learn to accept and appreciate expertise others, even though you can't even 100% understand them. And a few things which I learned as an engineer. In the beginning, we always link man, machine, materials method. That's pure, get the things done. The part where I learned most valuable, money and market. You need financial power and you need market access. Thank you very much.